Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be doing a very important book tag that has been circulating around BookTube for the past couple of weeks, and this is the banned books tag. This original tag was created by Katrina at Miss Peepers-Reading-Corner, and I've been tagged 4 times on this tag. I was tagged by Isaiah at That Reading Guy, by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, by Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics, and by MJ at Reading This Life. So thank you, Katrina, for creating this tag, and thank you, Isaiah and Kelly and Alan and MJ, for inviting me to this discussion. Here are the prompts. Number 1, do you intentionally read banned books? Why or why not? Well, yes, I most definitely do intentionally read banned books. When I first joined BookTube in February of 2024. My friend MJ at Reading This Life was just initiating the Read 24 in 2024 banned book challenge, and I absolutely embraced the challenge. And during the course of 2024, I read and talked about on my channel 24, actually I talked about 28 banned books that I read during the year 2024. And I think this is a really important topic that we all should be talking about, because books are being challenged and removed from libraries and schools in many places around the country. And I think, as booktubers, I think this is a really important topic for us to be addressing. Now, in addition to participating in MJ's challenge, I also purchased this sweatshirt, Reading Rebels Read Banned Books, from a link on MJ's website, where MJ was raising funds for the American Library Association, to help them in their efforts to keep all of these challenged and banned books available, in the eyes and in the minds of readers. MJ has also started an online banned book club, which she runs on Fable, where they read a different banned book each month. These T-shirts and sweatshirts are still available. You can get them through MJ's channel, and I'll put a link in the notes below. Okay, number 2, tell us about your favorite banned book. I think my favorite banned book is Toni Morrison's Beloved. And I did a separate video on this novel and on its banning history in February of 2024, when my channel was brand new. And I'll put a link to that in the notes below as well. Number 3, share a story about book banning. It's really interesting. As a teacher of English for almost 40 years, I never once had anyone advocate for the banning of a book that we were teaching or that was available in our school libraries. In all of those years, I only once had a parent call me and ask if I would find an alternative for his son. We were reading, it was a coming of age unit in sophomore English, and we were reading J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye, and this father was uncomfortable with the vernacular speech that Holden Caulfield uses in this novel. And he said that they were a religious family. He was a member of the clergy himself, and he said that he was uncomfortable with his son reading this the profanities that Holden uses from time to time. We had a very civilized discussion. I explained what we were going for in reading this book together, how we were looking at it as a coming-of-age novel, how Holden Caulfield is actually what he really stands for is fighting corruption and saving the innocence of little children before they are corrupted by the adult world. And the father was, listened very attentively. He was most polite, and he again explained his religious position. And I found another book for his son to read and to discuss with me. He didn't have the benefit of a class discussion, and he did writing assignments on an alternate reading. That was an appropriate way to deal with the parents' objections. He was not campaigning to get the book removed from the curriculum or from the school library or anything like that. It was all very, very civilized. And that's the only experience that I had with someone challenging something that we were reading and talking about in the classroom. I have had several experiences here on BookTube. When I was doing MJ's Read 24 in 2024 challenge, I kept talking about banned books, and as you've probably heard me talk about many times on the channel, I got trolled very badly in the early days of my channel, so much so that I actually shut the channel down. The novel that I was talking about was another book that I used to teach, and that was The Kite Runner. And I talked about, why this was such a powerful book for my students, but I talked about the history of this book being challenged and banned, and what the author, Dr. Khalid Hosseini, did to try to defend himself in districts that were banning his book. And I did a video on that, and I was treated very poorly by some people in the comments, and it was my first weekend on BookTube, and it really shocked me. I was not prepared for that kind of ugliness or attack in my comments. And then after MJ helped me get the channel back up and running again, I did another banned book video on Alice Walker's The Color Purple, another Pulitzer Prize winning novel, and that video was also incredibly, horribly trolled, again by someone claiming to represent a church in Florida, I think, and he wrote some really ugly and disgusting things in my comments. But now I knew what to do because MJ had shown me how to handle unwanted comments. So those are my stories with talking about and reading and sharing challenged books. Number 4, which book would you memorize to save it from the censors a la Fahrenheit 451? Well, in this whole book, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, is about book banning. This is about a society where books are illegal. Books are taken out by firemen and set on fire. And then we find, as the novel progresses, that there is a resistance group that is saving books and reading them and committing them to memory as a way to preserve the written culture. So if I were to be given the task of memorizing one book so that it would be preserved because all hard copies of the book were being burned, I think it would be Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. the book that probably made me know that I was going to major in English, study literature, and become a literature teacher. This is also a frequently challenged and banned book, and it has been challenged and banned all through its history since it was written in 1960, and it's still being attacked. I think the reasons change over time, but that's been a really important book in my own formation as a reader. I've told the stories about that book many times on the channel. I think that would be the one I would try to commit to memory. Number 5, are there any books that challenge your opinions on book banning? Be honest. Tell us more. No, I can't really think of a book that challenges my feelings or my thoughts about book banning. By the same token, though, I don't think that every single book ever written belongs in a school classroom, in a school library, or in a public library. I don't necessarily think that. But I think that people need to trust librarians and teachers and people writing curriculum for schools, trust their expertise in stocking libraries and classrooms and writing curricula. There is such a thing as age-appropriate books. Absolutely. And parents and teachers and all school personnel should work together and discuss those things. So no, I don't think every book ever written belongs, in every library. That would be foolish. That would be ridiculous. But I can't think of an instance where I would say that a book should be banned and made unavailable, to people who want to read it. I think there's a difference there, and I think a lot of what's happening with some of the places where book banning is really running rampant right now. I think certain kinds of books by and about certain kinds of people are being challenged horribly, and I think there's another agenda that's going on behind those challenges and those bans. And I think that educated people need to keep standing up against those kinds of challenges. Okay, number 6, tag people. I'm going to tag a bunch of people in the notes below. I have a number of friends here on BookTube who are also reading banned books and talking about them regularly, and many have already done this tag, but I'm going to tag some people in the notes below. To make sure that they are aware of this tag. No pressure, of course, but I'd love to hear I'd love to hear other people's takes on this. And if you're watching this, please, and this interests you, please consider yourself tagged. I'd love to hear your responses as well. So thank you again to Katrina, to Isaiah, to Kelly, to Alan, and to MJ for including me in this very, very important discussion. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.